So ladies and gents, today we're going to see if I made a mistake in getting my super adventure. We've got the triple black R1250GS. I think this is a TE if I remember rightly. I'm going to get run over again. Let's get on it, get on the beast. So let's bring it to life. It's a very lovely screen, isn't it? It's actually quite a lot smaller than I remember. We've got George's bloody arrow can making noises. I'm about 5'9"-ish, maybe just over. I like to think I'm just over. I can flat foot this bike very easily. The seat is so comfy. It feels a lot smaller than my bike, you know. A lot smaller. I've ridden one of these before. I've ridden a couple of these before, to be fair. This is obviously a competitor for my bike in a way. Obviously I know my bike's sort of up with the multi-stradas and whatnot, but it's still in the same sort of ballpark of bikes that people will look at. So let's give it a shot, shall we? First of all, a bit of a sound check. Sounds pretty good. This is a stock can as well. As you can see, it's quite a miserable day. It is 5 degrees at the moment. So if I sniff, sorry. What is George doing? Yeah, there's camera and slow-mo. What a knob. So this has got the dynamic ESA. Ah, we're on a minimum road height. That is what that is then. So how do I change that? That's dynamic. So suspension's in road mode. I don't know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not massively aware of all of this kind of screen stuff and how to set stuff up. To be fair, it's quite a small TFT. Obviously mine's a 7-inch screen. George is also a 7-inch screen. This is like, I think this is a 5 system setting. So I don't know what it is, but when I go into my suspension setting on here, I've got road and it says min. So I don't know whether that is minimum road height, max. Ah, okay. So this has got the adjustable preload, so that is now going up to max, so that does exactly the same as mine does, which is actually quite cool. On max I can still get both feet down quite easily, but that's actually a lot better. So that took me a little bit of time to work that out. That wasn't as straightforward as my bike. Mine is very easy to work out how you adjust the suspension and stuff. That was quite complex, I'm not going to lie to you. To get that suspension, I think most people would have to be shown how that actually works, whereas my bike's very straightforward. It has an illustration of how it works as well, which is really nice, whereas this doesn't, so it was quite complex to work that out. First impressions, it's a very comfy place to sit, very, very comfy. One of the first things I noticed is how balanced this thing is. It's just all that weight down low with a boxer engine, and it's just so balanced. Oh, that popping from the exhaust. I think I'm in dynamic suspension mode, yeah, so I'm in like the harder suspension mode at the moment. Let's go into road and see what happens. So this has got the dynamic ESA, as I mentioned before. It's got road and dynamic. There's no other settings for it. There's no comfort or anything like that. This road is horrendous, and it's handling it very well, to be fair. It is quite bouncy. Well, it's not bouncy, it's quite firm, should I say. The thing I do like as well, it's got a mode button, which is very easy to change, which is really odd because the suspension is, you have to know about the bike before you even work out how to do that. There's then a mode button, which is just very easy to change mode. It's almost like BMW don't want you to change the suspension damping. Right, we're on a nice bit of road. Let's stick it in Dynamic Pro, shall we? It's not a slow bike by any means. It's 138 horsepower, I think. Oh, it don't have pick up. It's got quite a lot of grunt in it. Oh. I've ridden one of these before. I know what it's all about. Everyone knows it's going to be a good bike, but it is very good. My quickshifter can be quite clunky on my super adventure, so I'm not going to be too judgmental on it, but this out of sort of peak range, should I say, is very jolty. The blipper's lovely and smooth. That seems to work lovely. That noise! When Baron von Grumble used to commute into London, he would sort of accelerate between lights, and it was just that sort of whoop, 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 and it just sounds so good. Oh, see what I mean? There you go. That quickshifter was very jolty there. Like, gave me a bit of a shove, to be fair. Get up in the revs and it's just like a normal quick shifter. I mean, it's fine, it's sort of okay. It's just, it could do with maybe a little bit of smoothing out. Oh, it did half pick up. And those brakes are really good as well. The front wheel comes off the floor apparently. We pull those anchors on. Oh yeah, they work really well. It's that noise, that's the GS noise for me. It's the wob 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 and it's the pop between, and just for me that's the thing that I like about this bike probably the most. The one thing I have noticed at speed, like anything above sort of 40-50 mile an hour, there's no issue with wind buffeting or anything like that. It's very clean air off this screen. This is in the highest position, however I can't ride my visor open, it's too windy. I can't say it's a bad thing because my bike needed the clip-on to make it sort of tolerable and that be able to ride my visor open. So for a stock screen that's very good, like the fact that there's no buffeting or anything. Although it does have those pops and whatnot, there's not a huge amount of theatre to it. It's almost like engineered theatre, if that makes sense. Everyone knows this bike is like annoyingly good in every way. It's a bit of a jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing. But then I suppose every adventure bike is. Oh, it's got hill hold control. There's definitely not an ASBO factor to it, and I think that's something I really like with my bike. It doesn't urge me on. Gotta be careful what I'm saying here. It doesn't sort of urge me to go faster. I still obviously open it up because I'm a child, and when you do open it up, it is it's a cracking thing. Like, it really does go, and it handles well at speed as well, to the point where I'd say most people would feel comfortable riding this thing quite quick. There's no massive grin factor to it. Like my bike, I can be doing 20 mile an hour and that thing makes me laugh like an absolute child. Front wheel comes off the floor. The thing I quite like is there is torque everywhere, so you can sort of leave it in third, fourth gear. Let's give it a real test. 20 mile an hour third gear. It does not complain at all. How slow can we go? That is 24 mile an hour in fourth gear and it is completely fine. And there's still loads of go. Uphill, 15 mile an hour in third gear. Just absolutely anywhere in the rev range. That's really cool. Overall, the bike's like an awesome bit of kit, as you will all be very aware of, because I think once you own a GS you probably don't really go back unless you get bored. If you have to have one bike to do everything, something like this is awesome. Negatives for me: quick shifter's a little bit agricultural for my liking. Most bikes, when you use the quick shifter out of optimum sort of rev range, they are a little bit jolty. This is very jolty. But when you're, what, 3,500 RPM upwards, it is as smooth as most quick shifters on adventure bikes, so I can't complain. The Tiger 900 quick shifter makes this one look like it's not got a quick shifter, because that is so smooth. But then that's a triple. So, I don't know. Like I said, there's a bit of a lack of character in it, I guess. I don't know, there's no ASBO factor, which is what I think I put it as earlier. I didn't even need to change down there. The only other thing that might be worth mentioning is that, I mean, I know I'm coming from riding a KTM and a load of you will be sitting there going, yeah, well, you ride a KTM so you can't talk. There's a lot of BMWs, this is going to get me shut down from riding any BMWs in the future, but there's a lot of Beamers in the market at the moment that I'm sort of seeing and hearing about that kind of they're not incredibly reliable. Obviously, when Teapot One tried to do his around the UK thing, that bike broke down. There's a guy that I talk to quite a lot of Bikestop that has got a new S1000 XR that has been in BMW getting repaired more than he's actually had it to ride. I don't know whether you'd have seen, but the Likeable Rider's just bought himself an S1000 XR that had a load of problem with a rear electronic suspension, saying there was a failure on it. It's a very high-end premium bike with a load of electronics on it, so there's bound to be some issues. It's exactly the same as my bike. There's bound to be some people with issues and other people that have no issues whatsoever. Oh my god, this thing is quick. So hopefully it's just the fact that it's been an unfortunate circumstance where it's been YouTubers and the people that I'm chatting to that are having the issues. Obviously, if they were unreliable bikes, they wouldn't be one of the best selling bikes in the market. God. There's a few little bits that are just niggles, I guess, but as I've literally just uploaded on my channel, there's niggles on my bike, and this bike's sort of a couple of years old now, I suppose, tech wise. Do you want to know my biggest negative for this bike? And I only clocked it, what, the second or third time I rode one of these, and it's the same on the R9T, and everything that's got a boxer slip past. Because of the way the pistons do that, they can't sort of meet in the middle, I suppose. The cylinder heads are slightly out of line. See if I show you without crashing. But can you see that? The left one is slightly further forward than the right. And that, I mean, you don't notice, it's not really easy to notice, but it's just something that would it would bug you if you've got OCD. I keep going to wrap it up and then I think of something else. The telelever suspension at the front doesn't dive, so if I show you now, look, I just pull the brake on and nothing happens. It's just so good. It is so good. When you need it to do a job, it's fantastic and it does that job well. You can have fun on it, but it's a bit mute of emotions if you're not trying to have a laugh on it, if that makes sense. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's an absolutely cracking bike. You can ride around the quickshifter, the screen's good, the reliability will come like with ownership, I guess. Like you never know until you've got a bike. Some bikes are faultless and some bikes have countless problems, so I suppose that's on your luck, I guess. If you need a bike to commute on, do chores on stuff, and you've got something stupid for the weekend, absolutely perfect. I'd have to have something like this plus like a speed triple or a Toona or something like that, just to have that sort of stupid grin factor, because that's what I like in a bike. If you want something that you're going to get off with a smile every single time, this isn't probably the bike. But if you want something that's going to be faultless and you can still have fun on, and it does everything you need, and it's a bit of a workhorse, this is absolutely perfect. It is so good. Yes, this is more comfortable. Yes, this looks better than mine. Arguably, the switchgear and everything is better quality. I think my dash is set out better. I think my dash is a lot more self-explanatory. But mine's got that Asbo grin factor. If I ride my bike home from the BMW dealership, I guarantee you, I will put the rest of my year's salary on it, which isn't a lot, but you know, I will get off with a smile on my face. There's a car in that ditch down there. Can't park it there, mate. Once again, thanks to Lynn's BMW in Wellingon City. They are such a supportive lot with this YouTube stuff. Thank you very much for joining me. I don't know when this video is going to actually go out. I've got quite a few different ones lined up on the channel. But I hope you had a lovely Christmas and New Year. And I will see you in the next video.